Excellent.
Yes.
How's it going, Kim?
Good. Going very well. You know what's funny? I was telling my people, hey guys, if you are here, #live. I see you guys are just jumping on in. Cool. I was just telling my people, Aleric, I was like, hey, for these people who are super busy like you are, they jump on like super last minute or they're like a few minutes late. So
yes, right on time. I believe it's right on the minute because I have had a bunch of, actually been on back-to-back calls basically all day, which is great. But that's what I love to do and love to, build things up and meet with my team, different people and clients and stuff. And so it's just incredible. Yeah,
I know. I feel like you totally have that energy, and you've been in this game for quite a while. So I want to dive into that. Hey guys, I see 12 of you tuning in right now as numbers are going up. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Joy says she's from Cali, live. All right, we'll dive right on into it. So Aleric, if you haven't been on YouTube, then you're living under a rock, and you probably have seen his ads around. I actually saw your ads for the longest time. Like, who's that guy? And then after a while, it's like, oh, Aleric is a YouTube guy. So he just won the 2 Comma Club X Award, which is more than millions of dollars. I just won the 2 Comma Club Award, not the X, but just like the normal one. And his company is called Ad Outreach. He has helped entrepreneurs collectively generate over $100 million in revenue. And his company itself does about over $1 million per month. So awesome, Aleric. I'm so glad that you're able to join us today. And for those of my people in the audience who don't know who you are, can you give us like a quick origin story? You probably have told this like a million times before, but just super quick. And Amika is from Calgary. Yay, Amika.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me on, Kim, and hope everybody is doing fantastic today. As she said, I'm Aleric, and I actually started out on YouTube. I've been on YouTube for over 12 years now, if you can believe it or not. I know I don't look like I've been on YouTube for over 12 years, but I started when I was very young, started with a channel where I was doing, mobile app reviews, technology tutorials, channels called AppFind. It still exists today. I've got a little small team that manages it. And it really started to take off. It got lots of people watching it over the course of, many years. And, today it has over 500,000 subscribers on that YouTube channel. So we became, one of the largest app review channels on YouTube. We were reviewing all kinds of different apps, mobile applications. And I remember one day back about 7 years ago, and I was in college at the time, and I had one particular mobile app. And this app, they sponsored me to do a video on YouTube. We put the video up, they got thousands of downloads. And they said, this is fantastic. This is great. Can you post the video again? Right. And I said, oh, what do you mean? Well, this is great. We want to get double the downloads. So they wanted me to take the same video and post it like a week later on the same channel. That's like, if I hopped on with Kim again, like, a week later, right? You've already heard it. Yeah. And so I said, hey, like, I don't want to just take your money to do that, but what if we do something different? And at the time, I had been experimenting a little bit with YouTube ads to grow my channel, but I hadn't done it for business yet. And I said, so what if we take YouTube ads and we run it for this video and get more people to download your app this way? People similar to those that have already watched the video, maybe we're going to get more people to download the app. And they were a little skeptical, but they said, you know what? Let's put $500 into it. So for $500 in 1 week, we got over 11,000 users for their app.
Damn. Aleric, just so you know, I've been teaching people how to launch their own little tiny apps, and I specialize in Chrome extensions. So I have a whole tribe, software CEOs. So when I heard that was part of your background, I'm like, oh my gosh, what? I didn't even know about that whole app part of your background. So $500 in, 11,000 users out. That's really good ROI right there. But
exactly. They were blown away. They didn't think it, they were like, wow, this is crazy. They had to look at the stats, take a second look and be like, wow. And so obviously we kept running that promotion, and then they hired me to do some other promotion because there's basically a marketing company that had that app as a client. They had some other apps, and so we did some other promotions as well. And that's when they were like, hey, we want you to fly out here, kind of join our company, Silicon Valley, drop out of college. And I said, you know what? I actually want to build this myself. I want to, and I'm sure a lot of, the people in this group, right, can resonate with that. Like, I want to build this myself. I want to be the king of my own castle, even if it's a smaller castle, right? And that I can grow myself, as opposed to being, the knight in somebody else's. And so what I decided to do is I said, you know what? This is the next business. I was looking for something because with the YouTube channel, it's more of a linear scale, right? It's content in, a certain amount of money out, and you can scale it, but the amount of effort, it's like kind of more of a direct. It's not an exponential style business like you can have when you have some kind of consulting or program, or you're working with clients directly, or if you have an app or you have a SaaS or something like that many people can use. And so what I decided to do was I decided to work with the app developers that I'd already developed a relationship with. I work with hundreds of developers for sponsorships for the YouTube channel. And I went back to them and I said, hey, here's what I'm doing now. I showed them the case studies. And these are really important for everybody, on here, regardless of where you are in the entrepreneurial journey, you never know when that pivot's going to happen, right? And you can see that potential pivot. And so then I started doing YouTube ads for mobile apps. And, we got, and that was more of an agency style. So we got dozens of app developer clients, drove millions of installs collectively for these different applications. And it was a lot of fun. It was great. But I knew that there was something more. And so that's when I started to experiment and discover ClickFunnels, right? I remember I went to HubSpot Inbound back in, I think it was like 2016. And I saw the ClickFunnels booth. And, met Dave Woodward, there and some of the ClickFunnels guys, and got the account. And I was so excited. So I started running YouTube ads to a webinar to attract app developer clients. And I was like, this is great. So I was now getting more app developer clients. I hadn't really pivoted yet. But then I was in these other masterminds, and people were looking at it and they were saying, hey, how did you do that? Not the app part, but how are you using YouTube ads to get high ticket agency clients for your business into your webinar? Everybody's doing Facebook. Because again, this now is like 5-6 years ago, right? And this was before YouTube even had lead ads, right? It wasn't even lead optimized. It was all, CPV or pay per view on YouTube. And I was just manually optimizing everything. And that's just how, it worked at the time. And so what I was doing is I started to have all these other people in the mastermind say, hey, we want to do that. And so I ran campaigns for some of the, some big names, different people in the mastermind. And then what I realized was, wait a second, I can actually share this with a lot more people. And so I had another pivot where about 4 years ago, I, went into where it is today. I rebranded to Ad Outreach, right, which is what it is today. And now what we do is we help business owners implement YouTube ads to get leads and sales in their business. And we have a hybrid done together model. So a lot of people, their courses or their agencies, but the issue with, again, and then there's great courses, there's great agencies, but there's a couple of issues that they have is sometimes courses, they get outdated. There's nobody helping you hands-on. And then agencies, again, there's a cream of the crop, but there's also a lot of agencies that aren't as good. But you're not also learning anything. You're not gaining this in your business. You're still renting it, right? It's kind of like the difference between renting an apartment or actually owning a house or owning, the piece of equipment in your business. And so what we do now is we train companies, entrepreneurs, if you're big enough to have a marketing team, marketing teams, marketing people, how to run YouTube ads to get leads and sales. And that's what we've been doing. And scaled it up to $1 million a month, and we're continuing to grow from here. We got about 45 team members now, which is just amazing. So it's just an incredible journey.
Oh my gosh. Very thorough, very succinct.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I've seen I remember seeing your very first ads for Ad Outreach, and I saw the evolution. Like you got a nicer place, you have like a bigger TV, and it was just, I saw that as you were growing your business. And for me, I'm not at $1 million a month. I scaled my little tiny team, and you're right, consulting brings like that huge it helps you so much because it brings that cash flow, and it allows you to really help your people when it's more do it with you. That's why even though we have like over 11,000 subscribers to our little tiny Chrome extensions, we provide them the next level. Like, how do you monetize from a little Facebook group? And effectively, you pivoted. And I feel like, you know, as we go through our journey, we don't know what we really want to do unless we just go out there and do it. And you did it in a very smart way. You niched down. It was very niche to ads for mobile app. And then you joined masterminds and you started, you know, in masterminds especially. I just invested in a $40,000 mastermind. Everyone in there invest at that level, and it's so easy to be able to be like, oh, you need the service over here. Like, okay, come on in. So definitely, I feel like with how things are now, people are so busy, or they have a team, or they don't have the time to go through and sit through a course. And what you're providing by opening up your doors for a do it with you level, it like pushes them really to make that impact and really get more eyeballs on their offers. So I actually found out about, I reached you because of my little tiny simple software. And it's because someone from your inner circle, they paid $20,000 to, I think, be part of your inner circle. And they saw me for a split second mentioned in a bonus video, and they hunted me down because of that. And that's how I'm like, what? I'm like mentioned very briefly in a bonus video in Aleric's course. So anyways, that's how we connected. And but yeah, so I want to ask, and guys, I know you're watching, so let me know if you guys have any questions about YouTube ads. I want this interview to not be like another generic interview. I want to ask like specific questions. I want this to be interactive between us and you guys. So, and I want to ask kind of questions that come from someone who is doing we're doing about $100,000 months and like scaling up from that with a business. And I know that we just signed up for Hyros. So we're like getting into like more of the tracking part of it. And definitely I saw so much value in what you do because I'm wading deeper into that world. And I feel like people should already know this world way before, you know, probably, I don't know at what level, probably when they're doing 10K a month, 20K a month. So one of the questions I want to ask is, at what level or where in a consultant's journey, in a coach's journey, because my audience is mostly coaches and also software CEOs. Those are my audience. Where in their journey should they start paying attention to figuring out YouTube ads? And what do you recommend? And also, what is your ideal client level that you work with on like a more do it with you scale?
Yeah,
I'm interested.
That's a great question. And honestly, what I would say is it obviously is going to depend for everybody, but I would really encourage everyone to look into YouTube and see if this is something that you want to implement now, because the reality is, you know, we have people of all sizes relying on YouTube, whether, if you're doing really well on Facebook, that's great, but you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So you can use YouTube. We also have other people, though, that Facebook's just kind of going downhill or not getting the same results that it used to. And then we add YouTube to the mix, and then they see even better results. I remember, one of our clients, Avon, right? He basically started out because he got banned on, Facebook, and it turned out to be temporary. So he started YouTube. It's just like, this is just a little Band-Aid. And he's like, all right, now that we're back on Facebook, we'll do 80% Facebook, 20% YouTube. And then he's like, wait a second, YouTube's producing twice the results, and not only 2 times the number of, he was obviously looking for webinar registrations and then phone call bookings, but not only that, but now they're higher quality. And it's the same thing, the same thing with membership sites like Eli selling like membership sites. He cut his cost per membership acquisition in half with YouTube. And so when this happens, you're like, wait a second. So what happened with Ahmad? He said, wait a second. All right, let's just go 50-50. Let's ramp up this split test here. And YouTube's still doing even better and better and better. And so ultimately, where he had his first like big record breaking month, and this was a little bit ago now, and so now he's like continuing with that. But he switched it to 80% YouTube, 20% Facebook, and you see things like this. And it's the same thing, with with some of the other clients that we have. Like, I was actually just talking to one of my clients today, David Emmons, and he teaches people, artists, how to sell their artwork online, right? And so obviously very needed, especially now.
NFTs or no?
What was that? Oh, NFTs. Yeah, I got to ask him about NFTs. We were talking a little bit about crypto. I should have talked about NFTs and stuff like that. I just kind of came up to because he was asking some questions about some of that with his, But anyways, he's got basically like a course, a $9.97 course, teaching these artists, historically more craft fair artisans, because he started out by creating these wonderful hanging water gardens, right? And so that's like his background, in crafts. And so he teaches people how to sell that artwork online. And so he's advertising on Facebook, but then he realized, we got him on YouTube. And that's now where the vast majority of all of his sales come from. And the reason for that is people are going on YouTube looking up, specifically, it's the intent. They're looking up, how do I sell my artwork online? And then his video comes up. Oh,
man. So $997 course level, you're saying whatever level, wherever.
Yeah, $997 course. We've got people selling, $5,000, $10,000 coaching programs, consulting. We have people selling masterminds in there as well. We have people who are in e-commerce. So we have, one of our clients, who's selling $40 ocarinas, getting 2 to 3x ROAS on YouTube. He's got like a little Legend of Zelda ocarina too. It works really well. It's kind of funny, but he's great. And so we have clients all over. We worked with Tufted Needle in the past. We've worked with universities, but we also do is we work with a lot of coaches, consultants, and course creators of all sizes. So, everybody, like I mentioned, like Ahmad and David, we have, Sarah, who does, teaches people how to do handstands, and which is just incredible. And, and running in front of videos on YouTube. It's like, I'm actually going to show you how to do it. And, and then you can go and get her course. And so there's so many different ways to leverage YouTube. We also have different SaaS products, membership sites, like teaching people how to do stock options trading. Actually, we'll talk about, maybe I want to keep diving into YouTube, but we'll talk a little bit about, we launched our own SaaS, keywordsearch.com, which basically is like a SaaS related to YouTube as well. And so now we're running YouTube ads for that. And yeah, so it works for all different sizes, all different types of companies.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Cecilia, to answer your question, all different sizes. Yes. How do I go to the next level? Cecilia's asking. She has a YouTube channel with 150 videos and followers. How does she go to the next level? That's a pretty broad question. Do you want to take
I can answer it in two directions. It depends on what your goal is. So, and by the way, you don't need a ton of subscribers to run ads on YouTube. You can run ads and they go in front of other videos. And so you can put the ads in front of the right person, the right time, with the right message. And we'll probably get a little bit into some of those frameworks of what that looks like. But you can get the right ad in front of the right person and you can drive conversions and results. So there's two main goals that I hear, especially somebody like yourself, Cecilia, if you have a YouTube channel already. On one side, maybe what you're looking to do is get direct conversions. Maybe you're selling some type of, course or some type of product or program or service or whatever it is. If you're selling something, you want conversions, then I would say YouTube ads. So in-stream ads. Those are ads that go in front of other videos on YouTube. And there's also some, resources as well. We have some resources. If you go to adoutreach.com/gift, there should be a page. Actually, I would actually have people just go to adoutreach.com. So we have some new resources too, and it'll list all of them. Just go to adoutreach.com. We've got a webinar on YouTube ads. We've got a training on specifically YouTube ads for clients. So the webinar is YouTube ads overall, training for clients. And there's a bunch of different resources and things. And we'll talk a little bit more. There's also, a masterclass and some other things. But that's kind of how you get started on the YouTube ad side. There's also a way to grow your YouTube channel. So the YouTube ads is getting in front of the right person, right time, hook, pull them in, educate, provide value, call to action, get them off of the video into your funnel. That's the ad. And then you want to target it in front of the right people by looking at the keywords that they're looking up. So what are they searching on YouTube? What are they watching? And then you put your video right in front of them. And actually, a lot of people, one of my biggest questions was, well, how do you find the right keywords? How can you find the right people? And it's the same thing. Kim, you know this as well, right? I'm not just trying to the reason you built your extension, your plugin is to help people, right? So I'm not just shamelessly promoting. I'm saying hey, people are asking, how could you find the keywords on YouTube? So I made a SaaS, keywordsearch.com, that helps you research all of those keywords. And there is a trial on that you can get the initial keywords and then decide if you want to continue or not. But basically, that will help you find all of the keywords that you want. I've got some of those trainings as well on the site. And so what you want to do is target the right person with the right message, with the right video. And that's how you do it. The right keywords on YouTube. So what you're gonna target in front of. There's also ways to get audiences on YouTube too. So people who are interested in this, interested in that. So it's the right audience, what their interests are, what they're watching, which is those keywords that you can find using that tool. Or you can do manual research on YouTube as well. So you could go to YouTube and you could type in all the keywords and cut and paste those. That's kind of like the old way, and that's why we created the tool. Kind of manually adding everybody into the group and the CRM versus one click kind of, but basically that's what we recommend on the YouTube side for ads.
Yeah.
Other side, does that make sense? I don't know, Kim, if you want us to expand into that.
No, that totally makes sense. So what Aleric said was there's two sides. There's one where you're doing direct conversions, trying to convert your people into your program, into your training, sending them to a book call, or a membership. And then the other one is running ads to grow your Facebook, your YouTube channel itself. So whichever one you are looking for, there's free training that Aleric has on his website. But don't hop over there just right now.
Yes.
JS is here. So he's like, hey there. Hey guys, if you're finding this interview valuable, smash that heart button, and so that the rest of the group knows that this is happening, this interview is going on. And I want to ask, I totally relate to being able to provide a solution in the form of software. My big philosophy and what I teach is you get the cash, you get the really big cash with consulting. So Cecilia, she asked the question earlier. She's actually one of our clients. She went from nothing to getting 2 high ticket clients within 2 weeks of working with us. So I am helping my people get that, the cash in the door. And then the next step is really to package their unfair advantage, the perspective that they have in solving their people's problem into software so that you can have the software and you can have the coaching side itself. But definitely in that interim, to scale up a coaching business or to scale up your influence, you need to figure out ads, and you need to be able to scale your team with ads in a way that won't, that you could actually scale it. You're not going to get a lot of depth from jumping into this ad space. So sorry, my little dog is barking. I have a plumber here. But yeah, JS, StreamYard doesn't show you, so you have to make sure it shows you. And then Amika, also another client of ours. Hey, Amika. So, oh man, I hope you don't hear the dog that loudly. But yeah, so I want to ask you, for when you're converting over from direct, how involved do you have to be? Are you, as the leader of your tribe, do you have to go out and learn this very closely, hand in hand with someone who already knows? Because I feel like it's the responsibility almost of the owner to figure out the whole ads journey, what converts, what doesn't. And a lot of media buyers, a lot of Facebook ads people, they're not, and YouTube ads maybe, they're not that great. So I want to touch upon what you think of that, your perspective in that. And another one, the next question is, how come it's just you? How come I don't see a lot of other people? how come I only see your ads? I go on LinkedIn and I see you over there too. So I'm like, where is your competitors? Well, how come I only see you? Like, are you outspending them or what's going on?
So that gets into my OmniPresent Retargeting Machine strategy, which I would love to talk about as well. And I think that exactly you're so right. What you want to do is is basically listen to the right people on YouTube, and instead of just hiring an agency that might be good, might not be good, or taking a course you're not sure about, you want to go with the people that have done it for a long time. And so I think one of the things is there's people popping up now that say that they'll do YouTube ads. The same thing with Facebook ads. Everybody and their uncle was a Facebook ads person. But the thing is, if you actually get into it, they just took a course, and now you're getting like second or third hand knowledge, and they're learning on your ad dollars. And I also love that you're saying that, because I completely agree with this, that the business owner, you should be the one going in at an early stage and understanding how everything works. You don't have to be the expert, but understanding how it works is really important, because this is your business. Now, if you are at a bigger stage, right? Like, maybe you are at Kim and myself, as you get further along, you're going to have somebody on your team. You're going to say, okay, this is the marketing person, or eventually this is our marketing team. And so, but ultimately, I'm a huge believer in having people in-house be the people that know how to do YouTube ads, and or any ads, not just YouTube ads, right? Facebook ads. If you're doing anything with LinkedIn, like was said earlier, right? Omnipresent retargeting, that's being everywhere. We'll talk about that in a second. But whatever you're doing in your marketing, not just your marketing, I mean your sales, your whole process, you want somebody on your team that understands it, because only you or a team member that you pay to exclusively work with you is going to eat, sleep, and breathe your ads and your account, right? And again, it doesn't have to be you. It could be somebody on your team, but that's all they're getting paid to do. The problem is with an agency, you have a fraction of their time, and sometimes, unfortunately, they're not even the highest caliber person. Or even if the person who runs the agency is great, maybe the people that they hired aren't as good, because it's hard to scale an agency. And so, a lot of agencies go the easy route, which unfortunately is the bad route for business owners that hire them, which is hiring not the best people. Versus if you have more of a consulting-based business, we have a little more than half a dozen YouTube ads experts in addition to myself, like the top people that I've brought onto my team. Same thing when we talk about channel growth. I actually found somebody who's incredible at growing channels, and I said, hey, and he was doing freelance. He was working with other people. I was like, hey, what would it take to bring you on our team full time to work with our clients and consult them on growing their channels? And so you want to work with somebody that's actually going to consult you, but you or somebody on your team is actually going to eat, sleeping, and breathing your business. You don't want to put your business in the hands of somebody else, right? That's like, I don't know, giving over your baby to be like for 23 hours of the day, right? Or whatever. You want that to be reversed. You want somebody to like give you those. And again, I don't really know as much about like the parenting, but like you'd want somebody to give you the tips, but then you actually do it, because it's so important raising, that kid. I'll stop the analogy there. It's so important what you're doing in your business. You want to be, or somebody on your team wants to be implementing and then getting the advice, not the other way around.
Yeah. Oh man, I spent so much money. And JS said that he spent $30,000 on ads and have not really gotten results that he's wanted. So yeah, this is great info. Love the energy. I know, Aleric, in person, you just, very few people really like match, because my energy, I have excitement energy. Yeah. I'm just like a bubbly kind of person. Mm-hmm. And very rarely will I meet like another person. You're like,
I love it too. I can feel it too from you as well. This is a great interview. There's lots of energy here, which I love.
Yeah. So JS has a question. Can you do cold marketing ads and really get sales without too much nurturing? And Greg also says that's a great question. I like to know that as well. So how would you answer that?
Absolutely. But you don't want to not do nurturing on the back end, because you would leave money on the table. So yes, you can absolutely do YouTube ads, cold traffic to whatever funnel you have. I like to do, because people are on YouTube, they're consuming videos anyways, some type of video. So whether that's training, a webinar, a free training series, mini course, masterclass, whatever it is, video to video. They're in the video consumption phase, like or mindset. And so they're on YouTube, they watch a video, they click off. I like to give them a video, and then that's what's going to be able to sell them. So then what you could do from there is you could sell them either, on the webinar, on the video, into, whatever software or program you have. If it's a coaching program, you might get them to book a call, and you are going to get a strong amount of people that way. I'd probably say for us, it's probably between 60 to 70%. It varies. That's basically cold traffic. But here's the thing. That's a lot, and that proves right there. YouTube ads, cold traffic works really. I mean, if you just multiply that by our business, that'd be, it's really easy because we're basically around the 1.1 million a month right now. So that would be, $600,000-$700,000 just directly, a month from cold traffic. But it would be a mistake for me not to run the retargeting ads. That would be an extra 300 to 400,000. So the answer to your question is yes, it does, but you'd be leaving money on the table by not retargeting. Hopefully that makes sense. So yes, you absolutely can do it without too much nurturing, but you don't want to leave money on the table. So I would do both. And that's the omnipresent retargeting. This might be a good segue too, but hopefully does that answer the question?
Yeah, it answers it to me. Cecilia says, I'm averaging 35 to 50% opt-in with my Facebook ads and would love to learn this strategy. Yeah, that's also why I brought Aleric in, because, again, the omnipresence thing that you have going on, I'm like, who else? Can I think of another name? And I'm like, nope, it's only Aleric in the YouTube space. And I would like to, let's segue into that. Like, how did you achieve that, and why is it hard for me to think about other names? Or maybe because the way that I operate is kind of also very telescopic. I focus on one thing until I get it to a really good state. So I'm also that. So who knows? You could be like, Kim, there's actually like 20 other people and you're just oblivious. So let me know.
Yeah, and on the YouTube side, I mean, this is something like, I mean, there's some people popping up now, but we've really been doing this. I've been doing this for a long time. We've worked with thousands of clients, and you said some of the stats earlier, and again, I don't like to like overly kind of talk about that, but I think it's important to know, when you work with somebody, you do want to work with somebody that is experienced. I think the thing is, you don't want to. There's just too many people in marketing that take a course and then go and reteach it, but they don't get the nuance, right? The actual strategy. You might know a couple of buttons to press, but you want to make sure there's strategy behind the buttons that you do press. But basically, when it comes to that, you talk about omnipresent and you're seeing me everywhere. That's something that everybody can do. Now, I'm one of, I think, a few people that are really talking about it. Obviously, I don't see it talked about enough. And so that's why I want to get up. I was actually up on stage. I don't know if you're familiar with War Room, but I gave a presentation last month, at War Room, omnipresent retargeting. Yeah, 300 of the top, like online entrepreneurs, marketers, and obviously a big mastermind. And so I was on stage, talking about omnipresent retargeting. And the thing is, even in rooms like that, some of the most advanced online marketers, and they're absolutely incredible. They're still not all leveraging as much as you could be, which really just excites me to like talk about that and say, hey, you could be doing this. The same thing, everybody watching here, there's so much. I believe the most underutilized asset in your business is your retargeting list. It really
my God, it's very true. Oh my God. I earned, we did over $1 million, and even then, like, so underutilized, and almost all the sales are because of organic. And that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to take advantage of these ads, because you can do over $1 million just completely organic. And you're really I feel like I shot myself in the foot by not entering into the ad space way sooner, So definitely super underutilized. Joy says, do off-camera videos do as well as people on camera? Do off-camera videos do as well as people on camera?
So I'm going to give you the honest answer with that, is that it like 99 times out of 100, it's going to work better to have a person on camera. But that person doesn't need to be you. We have had, clients hire spokespeople. There's different websites you can go on to find spokespeople, and they actually work. It does not have to be you. No, there's actually 3 answers to the question. the first answer, and I know it's kind of funny, all right, but the first answer to the question is you should have a person in it, right? So that's the easy answer. The second part of that doesn't need to be you. Now, when I say that though, we want to figure out why you don't want to be on camera. Because there's two things. One, it could be a limiting belief that maybe, you're not going to be good on camera. You're not going to, be, people aren't going to be interested. And here's what I would say, right, is that you are the best person to talk about your products and services, however you show up, authentic, natural, it does not matter. Because if you get on camera and you're excited and you're talking about, one of the things we do is just pretend you're talking, with one of your clients or a potential client, or you're on the phone with somebody, or you're telling a friend, about what you do, and you just light up. That's it. You can't. Everybody, like, here's the thing. I've had people tell me, no, I can't do that. I'm not gonna, be able to be on camera. And we basically just do that. I remember we had one client. They just basically put like a little sticky note above their iPhone. You use like a gimbal. So there's this tool you can get on Amazon. It's like a gimbal, connects to your iPhone. It's like $100. It's a great tool. And anyways, it connects to your iPhone. You can record it. You can hold it and record it. We had somebody put a sticky note, and they drew like, I forget, it was like a face on it or something. I forget, it was like their friend, like a friend's face, or actually it might have been like, his wife's face or something. Anyways, but he basically drew like a face on it, and it just lightened it up a little bit and was able just to talk to the camera. And so here's the thing. It depends on like why the reason is, right? And so I would really encourage you just to try. And here's the thing. You don't have to use it. If you just record it and you say, hey, you know what? If this doesn't turn out great, I'm not going to use it. Then there's no pressure. You just go out, you film. And again, the framework is hook. So pull people in, educate, provide value on what you do, a little bit of value, a couple minutes of value, and then call to action at the end. And that's kind of the framework that works best. And the other side of the answer is you can hire a spokesperson if that's what you need to do. And people are really surprised, but you can, because other people don't know who you are in your business. So if you get a good spokesperson, they could do a really good job. So that's the other side of it as well.
That's very true, especially when it comes to software. I have 8 Chrome extensions. GroupConvert is the one that you use, but a lot of people are like, who are you? They're like, Kim? I know the name of the extension or the company, but like, who are you? So yeah, a lot of people don't really know your face unless you're out there advertising everywhere, just you. So Joy says, perfect, thank you. Awesome. And I love that you put in that mental tip, like the way that you answer that question, it does talk to the restrictions mentally that people have of themselves. And that's pretty common from the way that you answer that question. Yeah. It seems like almost everyone have those mental blocks. So one of their questions is, this is Greg's question. What's your best tip or resource to set up proper YouTube retargeting?
Great question. I actually, so I'm going to dive into this here too, but I have a free OmniPresent Retargeting Machine webinar, which is basically the same talk I gave, at War Room, which again is like, massive, mastermind and stuff like that. You can basically get that, the equivalent of that talk on that webinar that we have. So you can see the actual ads that we set up, provide value on there. But what I would say to answer the question, verbally here is you want to target on YouTube. You want to target all converters, all people that converted. So you want your hot retargeting campaigns, so all converters. You want to segment that down to all the people that registered for, a webinar, or all the people that opted into this thing, and segment it. And then I like to target all time, which people kind of laugh at, but it's some of the best returns you can get in your business. If your margins are good, you can retarget people basically forever. It's kind of funny, right? But you can, because these are people that have shown interest at some time. And there will be a few people that will never buy, but there's also gonna be a lot of maybes. And I think of it like a gigantic microwave, right? It's this big microwave. All your leads are little popcorn kernels. They're in the microwave, and then they start to pop, right? And then those are all of the leads that become clients, all the leads that start to pop in the microwave. And so what you want to do is you want to turn that on. And so what some people do is they only retarget people for 30 days. They're like, I only do 30 days. Or some people say only 90 days. I do as long as the ad platforms will let me, which, on Facebook is 180, but you can upload a list. So you can basically make an infinite. Same thing on YouTube. It's 540, but you can also upload a list after a certain amount of ad spend. You do have to, there's some minimum thresholds over on YouTube, but, so you can retarget people for a long time. Then you also want to set up warm retargeting campaigns, segment those out. Those are all the people that have been to your site, but they haven't opted in, and you're trying to get them to opt in again. So warm and hot are two different campaigns.
Oh my gosh, so good. And I want to ask, as like CEO to CEO, like how did you? And this is my own like selfish questions here.
Yeah.
Like what had you go from 100K months? Like what kind of person or what kind of things was really, really important for you to scale? Is it just like the ads? Were there something pivotal that happened in between? And for me, it's really rare for me to hear that you're like, yeah, I'm for everyone. Whether you're beginner or middle or expert, does that mean you have training for every level of person coming in and using YouTube ads? Because I know you have an inner circle. I know you have like a higher ticket.
Yeah.
What's that journey from, a couple $100,000 all the way to $1 million? Or is it because of software? Is it because you own software as well?
Yeah.
Let me know.
That is a great question. There's two answers to the question. So how we serve everybody is that happened over time. We were YouTube ads for apps, and then we were YouTube ads more for kind of like coaching, consulting. And then we were YouTube ads for leads and sales. Now, we could call it YouTube ads, and we have OmniPresent Retargeting. So we're covering the gamut. And part of it is we have different YouTube ads, like other than just myself, right? So that's the thing. Like, obviously, I myself am a YouTube ads expert. So that's the other thing too. People, it's like I've been doing this 12 years, 7 years on here, built a lot of the strategies, basically the strategies that ad outreach is built on. But we have other team members on our team that have specialized in different areas. So for instance, I've got, team member Jake, who is not only a YouTube ads expert, he's also a Google ads expert. So he could do things with reporting and with tracking with APIs that, me being more on the YouTube side, he has things that he can show me on the reporting and APIs for Google ads as a whole, right? And so we added and hired the best people. I wanted to be able to help grow channels. And I saw one of the questions, how important is thumbnails? Not important for in-stream ads because people don't see the thumbnails, but it is important for channel growth ads, for discovery ads. So just quickly answering that. And so basically, we want to bring on a channel growth expert onto our team to help people grow channels as well. And so, when we bring people onto our team, I want to bring the best people in that can help different people at different stages. We brought on a mindset coach. We brought on an offer and business strategy coach, right? So we brought on different people because now if we're helping beginners, sometimes what we found is the offer isn't perfect. So we need to help them with the offer and business strategy. My head of sales, David, does a sales clinic with our clients as well. Now, YouTube ads, that's our 80%, but there's the 80-20, right? There's the other side of things. There's 80-20 of time, but there's also 80-20 of like what you do, right? And so like a big portion of what we do is our YouTube, but then there's another element. It doesn't actually quite fit the 80-20 framework, but anyways, there's like the majority of what we do. I kind of lost the anecdote there, but there's the majority of what we do, which is YouTube, which is the majority of the impact. So I'm not trying to say that's not the majority, but there's another element. There's another element, a 10-20% of what we do that makes it holistic. And that I think is really important to be able to work with people at all sizes. And then we also have increased levels of support. We have our mastermind, we have our one-to-ones when we're working with some of our higher tier clients and bigger brands.
And how were you, so for you to scale, you found really good people, and were you like a good manager off the bat? Were you a good recruiter of talent off the bat? Or did you have to find someone that was like good at that in terms of like scaling your business? Or was it just like for you, like only a matter of time until you just have like a team grow? Because here's the reason why. I have another company, it's e-com. And I didn't really care to scale that. So it's pretty small. It does around 300K a year. It's tiny. And the tiny staff, and I've never managed to really scale that company at all. And it has made me think like, man, you either have it or you don't, or like it, or joining certain masterminds, like anything that was like super pivotal and important for you, operating at your level, which is, it's different when you're doing $1 million a month versus a couple hundred.
So I think part of that too is, it's like Tony Robbins talks about as well. It's like where focus goes, energy flows. And so you're going to like, if you're focused on this business, on one business, then you're going to have other businesses that can continue to run. But to scale, you need like an entrepreneurial type person to be able to do that. And so, I like the thing is, what I'll say is I've obviously really scaled ad outreach, and I'm also playing more of a key role in the software right now, which is scaling. But our YouTube channel, it's scaling at an incremental, more linear scale. It's still scaling, right? But it's kind of in a similar boat as that. Like the YouTube channel does around like, the $300,000 a year or whatever, maybe around like $200,000 of profit. So a lot of profit, right? The thing I like about that is I just live off of my YouTube channel, and I invest everything that I earn from, my business is obviously doing $1 million a month. So it's doing a lot more, many more multiples, but that's also, I'm putting my focus into, this is my growth vehicle here. And so I think that that's part of it too. I've had people ask me that. I think it's great as entrepreneurs for us to have multiple businesses, but there's also only so much focus we have. And our focus is like sunshine on a plant. It's just like makes it grow. So I think that's, I think that's one of the things that is important to remember. So I would just say like, hey, like, what are you excited about? What are you passionate about? And then what are you excited about growing? Because I have no doubt if you put a lot of your focus and energy in growing the e-com, or if you found somebody where you put focus and energy and you incentivize them in such a way, and they were also the right person, there's a lot of factors involved, you could potentially have them grow it too.
Yeah, that's really good. And I really like how you use anecdotes, or it's like sunshine on a plant.
Yeah.
Oh man. I want to ask you, like, what are your plans in terms of how you're gonna scale? How are you scaling for the future with your business? It seems like you kind of already have everything. You have the mastermind, you have the software, you have all the webinars running, you're omnipresent. What is there for you to do? What is your focus now?
Well, so it's to continue to grow and be able to impact as many people as possible. So we've really grown the team, which I love, and we're helping all of our clients, which is fantastic. There's so much more that we can do, and we just I'm here in Austin, Texas, so we just signed a lease downtown for a incredible in-person headquarters, which is going to be amazing. We're going to have team members coming out here. We're going to have clients coming out. We're going to be doing our first in-person event with the mastermind, because the mastermind was kind of grown during this kind of a strange time with COVID and all that stuff. And so we're excited to have our first in-person. We've done some virtual events and stuff. And so what I'm really excited about is just continuing to grow and build things up. And I see a big picture. I see a really big impact. I know that I tell my team all the time, like, where we're at right now is just the beginning. Like $1 million a month is just the beginning of what I know we can and will achieve. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be this exact same model, because it was the same thing. You saw many pivots along the way. I think that's one thing entrepreneurs, and even myself included, sometimes, think that everything needs to be scaled exactly as it is. But sometimes the best catalyst for growth is adapting and seeing, okay, where is the market going? Where do I need to be to get to that next level, to get to that next step on the path? So I don't know exactly, what every step is, but I know the next couple of steps. And so that's what I'm focused on, is taking those next couple steps, scaling to $2 million a month by the end of the year. Actually, really 2.5 is the target we're looking for, $1 million a month by the end of the year. And, we're also doing a lot more channel growth, building that out, and omnipresent retargeting. And and also helping companies build out their internal marketing teams. That's something I'm really passionate about as well. So that's
really?
Yeah.
Internal marketing team?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. That's a little sneak peek at what we're building. That's not an offer yet, but
oh, okay. No, it's just like, okay, you have this, and what? You're building internal marketing teams. Interesting. Amika says, what can I change? So Amika put down her YouTube channel before. Do you, like, if someone comes to you and they're like, hey, how can do you give audits? Do you, does your team do like a call where you're like, these are the things you should change, and these are the options you have? Probably. You're nodding your head. So
we have a complimentary strategy call for YouTube ads. We also have one for YouTube channels. So there's YouTube ads strategy call and YouTube channels. If you go to adoutreach.com, they're both there, but adoutreach.com/apply is for YouTube ads. So we'll take a look at what you're currently doing, whether you're doing YouTube ads or not. So if you're doing YouTube ads, we'll see, okay, where are you at? What are the results? What are you doing right now? What needs to be changed? We'll map out that strategy with you. That call for the strategy to map that out, that's a complimentary call. Obviously, we can also walk you through what it would look like with us or what we'd recommend. And then we also have on the channel side, which is adoutreach.com/go. And I think both those links should be on our main site. But on the channel side, that's where what we'll do is we'll understand, okay, where are you at with your channel? And by the way, on the ad side too, if you don't have YouTube ads, we'll map out, okay, what should you do with YouTube based on what you're seeing with Facebook or organic or what you're already running. And on the channel side, we'll want to see, okay, what are you doing on your channel? What is actually coming in? And then what's the goal of the channel? Sometimes the goal is to grow the channel and have this be like more of a passive, not passive, but like, kind of consistent income stream, or it's a means to an end, which is growing the channel to grow your software or grow your coaching business or consulting business. Two totally different things. So understand where you're at, what our recommendations are. We'll take a look at the channel. We'll give you that feedback on that strategy call and then map out where to go from there.
Oh man, that's so Amika, there you go. He has that available, the complimentary strategy call, and then what are your goals, which it's very clear. You're either growing your channel and you can help with that, or you're getting more conversions for your program, your membership, your product, whatever it is that you sell. So I want to ask you, what percentage of the, let's say, marketing budget do you recommend people allocate to do their Facebook, to do their YouTube ads starting out? And I'm just curious, and I think that's a very beginner question, but yeah. I'm just gonna ask it anyway, and see what you have to say, because I feel like where I'm at, I'm spending quite a bit on just trying things out now because we have that cash availability. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, I really need to make the dollar work for me to grow out the team and to scale. So what do you recommend for, a business that does around 100K per month?
There's a couple answers to the question. The first is, I am a huge believer in start small and scale with traction and results, right? I don't think you should be pouring all of your budget into YouTube right away. Although I will say that once you see the results and they're consistent and then you start to scale it up, I think a big portion of your budget is likely to become YouTube, because YouTube is just working so, like we're seeing across the board with our clients, right? So much better right now than Facebook. Now, it doesn't mean Facebook isn't working. And there's a low-hanging fruit on Facebook. What we usually find is there's a little bit of a balance, right, where you're picking the low-hanging fruit. And so what we find is there's a certain amount you want to spend on Facebook. There's also a certain amount we want to spend on YouTube. And if you find that kind of sweet spot where you're getting the returns that you want, YouTube tends to be, you're able to spend a little bit higher with that return than you are on Facebook. So what ends up happening is, people are like this, they kind of go like that with, YouTube and Facebook. But I would start out, again, small. Now, my recommendation typically is going to be to start, around $100 to $200 a day, up to $500 a day, depending on the business. But I would really start at 100 to 200 is what we start most of our clients at on YouTube, and then scale from there. Now, we do have some clients that start at smaller budgets, $50 a day, but that's not the full strategy. That's like a light version. You can start kind of our full strategy at $100 to $200 a day, because we like to start at 4 or 5 campaigns. $25 to $50 a day.
4 to 5 campaigns.
Yeah.
And this is a trick that one of my mentors told me. And I don't know if it's still available or if it's still around, but he said that you can basically run testimonial videos kind of for free with YouTube if you encourage them to click out before you get charged. So you could like run these videos that for free kind of have your testimonials floating around on the YouTube space and not get charged for it if people don't watch the rest of the way. Is that something that is a good tactic still, or do you have other juicy tactics?
Yeah, so that's a good tactic. So with your retargeting on YouTube, you're only paying when people watch what's called a true view, which in most cases 30 seconds of the video. So if you get people to watch a 30-second video, now what he's telling you to do is have people skip the video before 30 seconds. Regardless of that or not, every time your ad shows up, you're only paying if somebody is watching that true view to that point in the video, generally 30 seconds where that view is triggered. And so what that means is you can essentially get free views of your testimonials, but then if they watch it, it shows that they're interested. So that's why when we talk about retargeting, it's so valuable. That's what I recommend to do. By the way, to go back to the other point, I had one other point to make. And again, this is with anything. And also I would say, hey, it doesn't have to be us or whatever, but it's like, I really think one of the best ways you can allocate your budget is by getting a mentor or somebody to help you in that particular space. Because those dollars, especially if you can learn the skill or you can have someone in your team learn the skill, those dollars are going to exponentially grow over time because you now are able to, for every dollar you put into YouTube, it's the same thing. If you're trying to do Facebook, you're trying to do LinkedIn, you're trying to, build a group, right? Or build a software or, everything that you teach too, Kim. It's like, everything that you're able to spend after you've invested in learning the right strategy is going to be a multiplier on those dollars. And so that's why, again, we offer kind of like the free strategy call. So we'll like map out like what we recommend. It's up to you if you're interested in that process. But, I do really always encourage people because I have some people that kind of like nibble here and there and they'll go over, they'll do a little bit of YouTube, but it's not the best strategy. And so it's kind of like the scattershot approach. Think of it like investing, right? It's like, if you don't know about what the best stocks are, it's a little different. Like if you're buying like the index, but and you're just buying like random things, like cryptocurrency, you're buying random things, you don't really know, versus actually working with somebody. And maybe that's not the best example, but like actually working with somebody that says, hey, no, do this. This is what you should do. This is what you should do. And I think that's one of those things, right? And that's probably a bad example because obviously, but like, a good example though is in business, right? Or another example is if you're trying to learn how to fish, right? Instead of just buying a ton of worms and a ton of bait, and then going out on the biggest boat you can find with the best state of the art rod. If you haven't learned how to cast the rod, you just spent all that money on the bait that's going to go bad, right? And maybe you're going to cast it incorrectly versus actually investing and having somebody show you like, hey, this is exactly what you need to do. This is where you need to fish. This is the spot with the fish. And then buy a little bit of bait to start, and then you're catching the fish, and then you're selling the fish to get more bait, and because you know exactly what to do and where to fish.
Oh yeah, no, I love all of your analogies. I love all of them. they're very spot on. And you mentioned something about like you're gonna start doing live events in Texas. You got like this whole office. That's amazing. And I know it's like the end of the hour, so we're gonna wrap up. I understand your time is super important. But yeah, no, we have a live event coming up as well. So I feel like live events are like the next thing to connect everyone, all the clients together. I really respect your time and I really enjoy our talk. So if someone were to wrap this up, just so I get to know you a little bit better, what book, if any, are you reading? Who are you following, if any person? And then you mentioned mentorships a lot. What mentorship maybe are you in? And you don't have to disclose it, but I'm always interested because I subscribe to masterminds. I'm like part of communities that are at that level. So those three questions. And then, of course, we shouted your website like crazy at outreach.com.
Yes, at outreach.com. Exactly. So right now, I'm reading Good Leaders Ask Great Questions, John Maxwell book, which is great. It kind of builds on some of the other like leadership and some of the other books, about leadership. And that's really important to me right now, as being the CEO. I'm also, sometimes I read things simultaneously. So, also, I'm friends with, Alex Hormozi is great. He's out here in Austin as well. And so I've, started reading his $100 million offers book, which is really, really great. So he's a good friend. So that's a great book as well. So those are the couple that I'm actively, reading right now. And then I love, and I'm following right now really closely, Roland Frazier. He's a good mentor of mine. And he has similar, principles to some of what we discussed here, right? He helped me come up with the idea for the bolt-on SaaS, like how to structure that, work with the developer to build some of that out. And so just really amazing. He's part of War Room. In terms of where to find me, you can go to atoutreach.com. And on there's a lot of free resources. I love to give free resources. I also, of course, have a Facebook group, and that is going to go into my CRM. You already know the game, how it works with Kim. So, and so it's YouTube Ads for Entrepreneurs Facebook group. And we actually have a new one too, Profitable YouTube Channels Facebook group. So YouTube Ads for Entrepreneurs, that Facebook group is all about build YouTube ads. And then, and that's got, I think, 19,000 members now. So it's really growing. And then we also have our Profitable YouTube Channel Facebook group, which is newer. And that one is how to build a successful YouTube channel. So those are the two different places. We have the strategy call at outreach.com/apply and go, or apply, and then go is for the channels. And then the final thing I'll say too is, if you are, looking at the software side of things, keywordsearch.com is our YouTube keyword research software.
Oh my gosh. So
lots
many
of projects. I'm not trying to just because you asked like that, those are the places to find me. But any of those should lead you to the other places. The group will point you in every direction, the site, all of that.
All right. Thank you so much, Aleric, for your time. I am just amazed at how much you've managed to accomplish and how dedicated you are to the YouTube journey for as long as you're in it. That is why you are the GOAT of the YouTube ads world. So I am so glad that you joined us here today. And I'm going to click end broadcast, say bye to you real quick. So bye, everyone.